Right, I think we'll make a start. And I thought what I would do today is, because the current challenge is to use just Lisa's box kit 3, I thought I would make a card using the same thing. I've got to be honest, it's probably my favourite so far. I just think it's just such a fun kit. So that's what I'm going to be using today. And the only other thing that I'm using is the nested scalloped and plain circles. And the reason I'm using that will become apparent, because I'm no good at cutting circles freehand, and why would you bother when you've got such a fantastic die set to be able to use. So those are the only thing other than the box kit that I'm going to be using today. Okay, now again, I'm basing it on a sketch that I've got on my computer, and this was one from Tailored Expressions that I've had for absolutely ages. What I thought I would do first is, I know a lot of you have struggled to line up the stamp and the die for the daisies. So I'm going to be doing just one daisy for you today, just to show you how I do it, and hopefully it will help you, hi Maria, to line up yours as well. Okay, so first off, I've stamped the daisy, and then I've stamped, and I've actually die cut a shape. I didn't stamp it first, I just die cut a shape so that I've got like a frame, if you like. And what I do is I look for something on the die, on the stamp, that I can line up. So on this particular stamp, there's a set of 3 leaves here, 3 petals, and I line those up so you can see that on my frame, those 3 petals are these 3 little bumps here on my frame. Hi Connie. So when you come to put the frame around the flower, you will see, bearing in mind that there's always a sort of a 2mm outline around the flower, you will see that that lines up beautifully. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold that in place, and I'm going to find the same piece on my die, so that's this piece here, these 3 little bumps here, and I'm going to sit that on top of this frame here, and it will literally slot into place. See, that's not moving because that's sitting within the frame that I've already cut out. So then I'm just going to secure it onto my piece underneath. I'm going to take it, I'm going to cut this off camera, so I'm literally placing it in my die cutting plates and then running it through. Put that to one side and get rid of that, and you'll see that when I lift this off here, my flower literally pops out and is cut perfectly. What could be simpler and easier than that? And you can do the same with every single one of those dies. So always find a point of reference on your die, and like I say, on mine it's these 3 little leaves here. Okay, and don't worry about it being too thick to go through your machine. It isn't, because you've already cut this frame on here. You've already, the cut line is just on the inside of that frame, so it is literally only going through this one, it's not going through both. Okay, so that's how I do it, and I find that the easiest way to line it all up, because they are, you know, there isn't much difference between the petals, so just look for a point of reference. Okay, so that's my little tip for lining up your die and your stamp. Okay, so now we're just going to put the card together basically. So I've used the papers from the box kit, because obviously I don't want to use anything that isn't in the box kit. So I've literally chosen my papers and cut them so that I've got a decent matten layer to put onto my card. Okay, so let's layer that up first. And the thing I love about these papers is they're not that cheap, like wrapping paper type paper. that you get in some kits. This is proper, decent quality paper, and I just think it makes all the difference to cards. Okay, so that's my first layer, and then I've gone with a pink. The actual papers cut well, and they die cut well as well. So if you wanted to, you know, die cut some stuff with these papers instead of using card, then you could do, because they are a reasonable quality. Okay, so then we're just going to go on the top of the green with the pink. Okay, so that's my base. Now then, I've got, as you can see, a panel to put here, and then 3 circles to put on the top. Okay, so this is going to be my panel. I'm going to put this piece down first because I don't need this piece. I'm going to do a little bit of stenciling on my piece of white card. Just because I wanted to give it a little bit of interest behind the circles, really. So I'm going to pop my bit of green down there. I do love this leaf paper. I think it's really pretty. Okay, so there's that there. Now this panel's going on here, obviously, but I wanted this to have a little bit of interest. So I'm going to do a little bit of stenciling. Right, I'm going to be using the stencil out of the box kit, and I'm going to be using the circles. I thought about the diamonds, but to be honest, because they're so close together, I thought that might overpower the circles that I was going to put on the front. So I've gone with the circles as opposed to the diamond shapes. Now I'm using a pale pink because obviously I want to tie it in with the rest of the colours of the papers that I'm using. But I'm using a Kitsch Flamingo as opposed to Spun Sugar. Spun Sugar is just that little bit too light for what I want. So I'm literally probably not going to put much ink on here at all. And I'm just going to move this round so that I've got a better angle to work with. And I'm hardly touching this paper at all. It's literally letting the brush do all the work. I love these little bijou brushes. I've got 2 sets at the moment, but I am going to be getting more because I just think they're just so beautiful to use. So I'll just turn my stencil round and just add a few more circles. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to line up, and nobody's going to know that you've used a triangular stencil there and you've had to line it up. Nobody can tell that, really, can they, from that? Just so long as you've put your stencil in where you wanted it. And as I say, really, it's just to give a little bit of interest to the back of the card that's going to be behind my circles. I've just got that last little bit in the corner to do up there. And as I said to you last time, getting these brushes in and out of its holder is really so easy. And I just add a little bit of a line down there, which I will just get rid of. Okay. Nobody's going to see that unless they look at it really, really closely. So these little bijou brushes, when you take them out of their holder, well, the first time you take them out, you might find that they're a little bit stiff. Thanks, Connie. But the easiest way I found to take them out, hello Jean, is to put your thumb on the little bit of a lip that's round the bottom of the handle. Put your thumb on, press down on the brush, and as you press down, pull it forward, and it pops out so easily. There's no, don't try and take it out sort of from the top, because it's going to be a little bit stiff until you've sort of had them in and out a few times. So put your thumb on the lip, press down on the brush and pull forward, and it'll pop out no problem, and then just clip it back into place when you've finished. Dead easy. Okay, so we're going to put this on our piece of green paper. So then my white card is going on top of my green paper, I know it seems like a bit of a waste of the papers, but if you wanted to sort of hold on to a little bit more of your paper, you could actually use one of the slimline stencils and cut a piece out, so that you're actually not using the whole of the piece of green paper. Nobody's going to know. So there's my main piece. Now then, the bottom piece here just looks like a little line, but I've decided that you will still see the sketch as is meant to be. So I'm going to use the same piece of green paper with the leaves on, and then I'm going to pop the card in the middle here, and then I'm going to put my sentiment here. Okay, so it's all going to sort of make sense, and it will still match the sketch. I'll pop that down there so it's matted and layered, like so. And then this is going to go here, and you'll see that hopefully the green touches the green, so you don't see the pink down the side. Okay, so we'll just pop that into place, and then we can do the stamping of the sentiment afterwards. I just think the papers in this box set are so pretty. I think my favourite is the black and white dotty one. I think that's just fabulous. So there's the basis of my card. Now all I need to do is put my 3 circles on here. I didn't want to just put 3 circles, so I've used the circle die set, as I said, and I've used this one here. So 1, 2, 3, the 4th one in from the middle, because that was exactly the right size to fit 3 circles across the middle there. I wanted to use one with a scallop on, but the one with the scallop on is just a little bit too big, and then the one further down is just a little bit too small, and it just wouldn't look right. So I had to go with a plain one. But what I did was just go round the edge with one of my Copic markers in a colour that matches everything else, just to take away that stark white edge. Okay, so I'm raising these up a little bit. I've already put my 3D pads on the back, and what I would say to you is when you're lining all these up, do the 2 outside ones first, because you can work out from the edge on both sides so that they both look the same, and then the middle one will sit directly in the middle because you've got space either side, and you know how to measure it without actually using a ruler and measuring. That's the way I do it anyway. So I'll pop that on there and do the other end and pop that on there, just making sure that they're level, like so. I think that's level. Yeah. And then you can pop the middle one in, and you know that the middle one is going to sit exactly in the middle of these 2, and is going to look even, and you can line it up vertically as well as horizontally. So let's just pop that down there. Okay, they look pretty even, don't they? And then I'm putting my daisies that I've already stamped and die cut, and all I've done is I've used a green Copic marker just to highlight the veins on the petals, and then I've just coloured the centre in, and all I've done is gone over it with a clear sparkle pen just to give it a little bit of interest. And I'm going to put them all the same way so that they're all uniform. And again, I've put 3D pad on the back because I wanted to raise this up. I don't want it to be ridiculously raised up, which is why the papers are flat on the card, because I am conscious of costs going up with, you know, postage and the like. So I think if you can keep it to just going through that little slot when you take it to the post office, so much the better. Okay, so there's my 3 little flowers on here. So all I've got left to do now is the bit down here where I'm going to put my sentiment. So my sentiment again is from the box kit, and I'm using, I mean there's lots of lovely little sentiments on here, but I'm going to be using the Just Because, and one of the tiny little stamps here is a set of 3 little hearts. I don't know whether I'm a bit high there, and I just think that is a beautiful finishing touch. I was going to use a leaf, but I wasn't happy with how it looked, so I'm going with the 3 little hearts. And then I'm going to finish it off with some little gems, because, well, it wouldn't be a card from me, would it, if I didn't? So I'm using a VersaFine Clair because it just does give such a fabulously clean, crisp print. So I'm going in from the end a tiny little bit and just adding my sentiment along the card there, along the middle. I love the font on this, I think it's just beautiful. And then I'm going to put 3 little hearts this side and 3 little hearts this side. I mean, I just think that finishes that off perfectly. And then I'm just, I'm using Lisa's Super Sparkle Gems, and these are the In the Garden set. I think there were 4 together. There was a white one, gold and silver, blue and black, and this one. And to me, you can't have enough sparkle. So now I've got choices here. I can either use a large, a smaller one, and an even smaller one, or I can use 5 of the same size. So you tell me, which do you think would look better, the 3 or 5 individual ones that come a little bit further across the card? I know what I'd go for. Hi Natalia. Thanks Connie. It's just so simple, isn't it? You know, everything that you need is in the kit. It's all contained within one little box, and you don't need anything else. So if you're just starting out on your crafting journey, what better way of doing it than to buy a box kit? Okay, Lorraine, you were first. 5 it is. It's the one I'd have gone for personally. Yippee! So, because I think it balances it out a little bit better with having the 5 against the sentiment over here. So yeah, so we'll go with the 5 and just pop that up there a little bit. If you're limited on what you can spend on craft stuff, I think to get a box kit to start with, and looking through the magazine, when you look at some of the projects that people have made just using the box kit, you don't need anything else, do you? This is so perfectly simple to start with, and you can make no end of cards. I mean, there's 68 projects in the magazine, and I think, to be honest, you'd probably make quite a few of them. So I think don't sort of look at a box kit and think, oh, it's only a magazine. It's so much more than that, especially Lisa's box kits. So that was a quick and easy one today, don't you think? But I just wanted to show you that you don't have to go super complicated. You don't have to have loads of different layers, lots of embossing, lots of different stenciling. Something so simple can look just as effective. I think we'll leave it there for today. Short and sharp and easy. I hope I've helped with the little lining up of your daisy. And don't forget, like I said, you can do this with all the stamps in the set in exactly the same way. It's a quick and easy way. Okay, you've got to die cut it twice, but that takes no time at all, really, does it? So I hope that was okay for you. I will edit the video down and pop it onto YouTube a little bit later on. And I'll be back next Monday with another card for you. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching today. I'll see you all again next week. Bye for now.